does not exist.
Cancel Rachel.
I have no beverages, but I'm trying to limit myself to 1 Dr. Pepper a day. And I will, if I have one now, I'll have another one.
Sorry, Charles.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome back to the Paddock Girls podcast, where the takes are bold, the gossip is elite, and the only thing faster than the cars is how quickly we tend to get off topic. I'm Hannah, joined by Rachel, Amy, and Meg, with Chelsea working her magic behind the scenes, as always. Debuting back in 2009, Abu Dhabi has become that race. Today we're diving into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, aka the season finale, to the World Driver Championship contender. In this case, the track itself is a mix of high speeds, tight technical sections, and the iconic Turn 5-6 complex, where overtakes either become legendary or end up in the we don't talk about that folder. So buckle up, it's time to get your headphones and to grab a drink worthy of a podium celebration. Champagne, optional. Hydration, mandatory. And let's get into everything you need to know about the 2025 Formula One season at Yas Marina.
Hi, besties. It's time for Turn by Turn segment. Normally, I have a laundry list, but I'm trying something a little different, so please let me know your thoughts on this new format, because honestly, I don't know if I love it or if I hate it. We'll find out. So they have resurfaced between turns 1 and 4, grinded down the curb at the apex of turns 4 and 6, added new asphalt to fix a bump at the exit of turn 6, and there is now new debris fences that have been extended at the left-hand side exit of turn 1, the left-hand side of turn 3, and turn 16. They extended the guardrail at turn 5 on the left-hand side and added Tech Pro barrier at the exit of turn 3, left-hand side as well. They also added at the support pit entry Tech Pro. It's been a little bit adjusted, so that's always kind of good. Tech Pro, in my opinion, is a good thing to add because it's supposed to keep people safe and keep things safe. And finally, what seems to be the new thing in F1 that I have noticed doing our turn-by-turn segment most episodes, they have widened the white line and repositioned the blue line at the exit of turns 1 and turn 7. They seem to be adding blue lines at a lot of these tracks. I think it's a good thing. I think it helps with visibility. So there's that. Now, like I said, normally I have a laundry list. I don't, thank God, which means that we have time to talk about some major headlines and some breaking news. Now, if you listened to our last episode, we said that we didn't know what was going on in the house of Red Bull / VCarb. Well, we now know what the heck is going on, people. Isaac Hadjar will be paired up with Max Verstappen at Red Bull next season. And Liam Lawson is going to be joined by British-Swedish rookie Arvid Lindblad. Sadly, everyone's favorite Yuki Tsunoda is going to be without a seat. He will, however, be the Red Bull test and reserve driver, which honestly, let's face it, we all kind of hate that. I really hope that Yuki lands a seat on another team with all the contracts that are going to be up at the end of the 2026 season. Or, this is just a crazy thought here, people, that Honda gets this man a ride in IndyCar, like ASAP, please and thank you. I would honestly love to see Yuki Tsunoda in IndyCar. I think that would be wildly iconic. I think he'd have so much fun with it. I don't know why.
Agree. I'm disappointed but not surprised. I kind of think we all knew that Yuki wasn't really going to keep his seat with Honda moving to Aston Martin and Ford providing Red Bull and V-Carbs power units next season. Not that we didn't still hold out some Delulu hope that he would stay, but in the politics and money of F1, it makes sense. I also agree he should go to Indy. I think that would be really good for him. I believe the last IndyCar seat is a Honda seat, so like it works. It fits. Paddock is a reserve and test driver for McLaren and he drives Indy, so
a girl can dream here, people. A girl can friggin' dream.
Although it is very sad and I feel bad for Yuki because I feel like he never really got a fair shot in F1. I am, on the other hand, very happy for Arvid because I feel like he's a very good driver. And I mean, the progress he's made in the last couple of years has been pretty good. And I think he deserves a chance. I mean, I always love when the younger guys get a chance in this sport and it's not always just the same group of 20 people. So, I don't know. I'm here for it. I'm also very nervous for Isaac because we all know what happens in that second seat. However, I do think this is me like knocking on wood and being hopeful. Now that Laurent Mekies is the principal, that will change the whole second seat and not being fair thing. So we shall see.
I think this year has definitely proved itself for the younger generation that is coming in, just how impeccable of a season and an impact that they can have versus the legacy drivers per se.
I think the coolest thing about Arvid is actually, this is, again, I'm the witchy one, so is anybody surprised that I'm bringing this up? He more or less like manifested / predicted his seat, because he literally, there's a video clip of him telling Lando Norris, "You'll see me in 5 years," and that was 5 years ago from like this, like basically next year. And I think that's just so iconic because either you paid an Etsy witch, you're a witch yourself, or you're clairvoyant, something. Like, I need to know how the heck you called it so perfectly. Like, that's by far my favorite bit of news that came out with Arvid's announcement.
Yeah, I love that like Lando's like the LN4 account posted it too. Like they're the ones that brought that clip back. I thought that was iconic. And I did double check. The last seat available in IndyCar, Dale Coyne Racing, is a Honda backed team. So, do we see him joining our fellow XF1 driver Mick Schumacher in IndyCar? Who knows what is left?
Rachel and I would lose our shit.
Would love that.
If he goes anywhere, it would be with Honda. He's built such a great relationship with them.
If he does, PGP takes Long Beach 2026.
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Sign me up.
Now, this does kind of tie into IndyCar because they do have or have had an IndyCar seat, but we do have some really exciting 2026 livery news already. Red Bull obviously has already announced when they're doing theirs. I think they're the only current team that has announced their livery date. I may have missed some other ones potentially, but what I think is the coolest thing ever, Cadillac announced how they are doing their 2026 livery reveal. And Caddy has decided to do it in what may be the most American way ever. And I mean ever, people. This is so iconic. They are set to present their livery for their debut F1 car during a TV ad that's going to run during the Super Bowl. Yes, I said the Super Bowl. Honestly, I have no notes. Whoever in their marketing, media team, advertising team decided that this was the method, you deserve all of the green lights, a cold pillow every time, and a really fat raise, because that is iconic.
That was my first thought. I really think that they went, all right, how can we make this as American as possible? Two other teams on the grid currently have announced. So it's Red Bull is January 15th, Alpine is January 23rd, and Aston is February 9th as of today. And then Cadillac is, I believe the Super Bowl is February 8th next year. But yeah, the Super Bowl is very go big or go home, and Cadillac's like, we're not going home. They're ready. But it is truly the most American thing that they could possibly do. Other than like Independence Day, but that's in July, so obviously not an option. We had some other news for the current American team on the grid. Thursday morning, Abu Dhabi time, Haas posted that this would be their last weekend as MoneyGram Haas F1 team. Not that anyone actually called it that, but I digress. The partnership between MoneyGram and Haas is ending after 3.5 years, and Toyota Gazoo Racing will become the new title sponsor in 2026. The official title for the team will be TGR Haas F1 Team, or as everyone will be calling it, Haas.
Honestly, I feel like I didn't see MoneyGram leaving as the title sponsor. I feel like they just suddenly announced the news. But as somebody who has loved endurance and Le Mans and everything like that, seeing TGR come to F1 brings me so much joy. I can't even explain it. But Rachel is 120% right. Nobody is going to call them TGR Haas F1 team. It's just going to be Haas. I'm sorry, guys, but you're kind of stuck with the name. Nobody calls teams by their title sponsor full names at all. It's why I don't get the point of a title sponsor, honestly.
Truly. The last little bit of breaking news from this week is in regard to the FIA election lawsuit that's been going on. A French court has accepted Laura Villar's case to contest the FIA presidential election. The court did not rule on the substance of her accusations, but they did determine that the concerns are significant enough to be examined. A hearing date has been set for February 16th of 2026. The FIA election is not being halted or postponed, so that will go ahead as planned at the moment, but the validity of it could be reviewed or annulled at a later date depending on the outcome of this case in February. I, for one, am praying that she wins this case. MBS has got to go. I feel like a lot of us can agree on that. And if the election process doesn't change, we may never be rid of that man. And that's scary.
Big facts, no lies. He's got to go. Something's just got to change with the way that they're doing the election. Full stop.
I think it also doesn't help that the only thing that is stopping a true election from happening is one person in one country, if I'm not mistaken, from having a full-on how it should be. And that's only because that country only has one person and refused to have two, while most have two, if not more. So I think it's because of that, this is what's happening, and make that make sense.
Something's gotta change. I also just have to give her major kudos for the fact that she A, ran, but B, went as far as to go, okay, you're not gonna make this easy for me. I'm gonna make your life harder. I'm going to be the squeaky wheel until something changes because the system is broken. 10 out of 10, no notes, Miss Laura. You are a queen. You are an icon. Somebody get her flowers. Thank you.
Somebody get her the FIA presidency.
That, I would love to see it. Screw the flowers, get her the gig. Now, obviously, we have to yap about liveries and helmets, because is it really a PGP race recap if we don't talk about whatever we see for liveries and helmets? Because, duh. We have one livery, a singular livery, and it is from McLaren. Honestly, for me, from what I saw of the livery, I kind of felt a little underwhelmed by it. It's not really giving we're constructors champs and our drivers are in the top 3 kind of energy. Granted, yeah, that's a little difficult to do with a livery, but this one just didn't hit for me, and I felt a little let down. And I hate to say it, because McLaren normally does really good liveries, and this one just wasn't it for me.
I wholeheartedly agree. I was super underwhelmed. It felt more like a Velo design than a Papaya Army design. I'm always on team bring back the McLaren chrome liveries, please.
Please.
That's how you tell people you are champions. Bring back your chrome liveries.
The full chrome.
That would have been
Especially-
amazing.
Well, especially in the night race.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know who would have loved that? Mr. Lando Norris. He loves that chrome livery. Your drivers love the chrome. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Well,
Also-
maybe they will
Maybe
with the
next
rules.
year?
Yeah, with the rules with the paint.
Yep.
True.
They have more opportunities, and Alpine have opportunities to make that livery entirely pink.
Please.
Oh, yes, please.
We
I
beg.
had to add that.
But also
Give us
the
what we've
McLaren-
all been asking for.
the McLaren livery looked like a repeat of past Abu Dhabi liveries that they've done. So I was also underwhelmed by that. I was like, this is just a repeat of what you've done in the past. But
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special, and I think because they've already won the constructors, I was expecting them to go like all out super epic with this final livery, because why not? Obviously, yes, like with trying to make weight and stuff, you've got to be mindful of how much paint you're putting on the cars, but still, I was just expecting more. If you listened to our last race recap, you heard me say that I wanted to see a lot of drivers do specialty helmets for the final Grand Prix. I wanted like everybody to do one. I did not get what I wanted, which is fine. But we got quite a few. I'm starting us off with in order of how I saw them and how I think most of us saw them on the internet. First off is Nico Hulkenberg. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this one. It's kind of cool. Kind of wanted more for the amount of races he's done. I get it, but I don't know. It didn't do it for me, but it also felt very Nico at the same time. It's like I don't know. I just don't know how I truly feel about it still.
Honestly, I'm pretty into this one, not gonna lie. I really liked the medieval vibe. It felt very Hulkenberg. I love that in his post, his outfit kind of like had the similar color scheme as what was on the helmet. Whether that was on purpose or not, I don't really care. I'm here for it. I thought it was a great helmet. I think it's one of my favorites that he's probably done in the past couple seasons. I don't know, I thought it was just cool. I thought it was definitely something different.
I definitely agree. I liked it. It was different than I think we normally get from a helmet design from everybody on the grid. It gave very German/Swiss vibes. I felt like the metal accents and the medieval look felt like it was very Nico. There was moments in it where I was like, I wonder if he's a raver, because this gives it that vibes a bit. And I don't know. I almost kind of wish that he would do more of that style for his helmets, because I was very into like the hard rock medieval vibe of it.
Now, I think this may be one of my favorite helmet designs, not even of this race weekend, of the entire season. And if you heard me squealing/screaming, blame Carlos Sainz, people. He did a lid based on Sparkles the unicorn, which I literally have been begging for. I even mentioned it last episode, so I'm really happy that I got what I wanted, at least in some way. I have not a single note to give. Chili, it's perfect. Please, I'm begging you. Like, I'm quite literally begging you. Bring Sparkles back next season. We need it more. You cannot get rid of her.
So I think Saturday, it was either Williams Social or maybe it was ESPN that did like a brief interview with him. They were talking to Carlos about Sparkles in the helmet and if it will be coming back because of the good luck charm. And he said, I guess so, for next season. So that gave me hope. And everybody seems to really like it, and the vibes for it are just perfect.
We did get our first lid swap of the season. And if you don't know, if you're a newer F1 fan, but you've watched like football, American football, European football, aka soccer, or hockey, jersey swaps are a thing. They do the same thing in F1. And we got what I think might be the most interesting pairing for a lid swap, and that is Oscar Piastri and Pierre Gasly. I honestly thought I was seeing things because I didn't realize those two were friendly, but apparently they game together. I can't. It's so perfect. It brought me so much joy. I am just a sucker for a lid swap. I think it's so sweet. I love the sentiment behind it. But those two as a duo was just not something I saw coming.
I've been up since 4 a.m. I just want to know what they wrote on their helmets, because it seemed like from the video that there is some kind of inside joke about Alpine in there, and I want to know what it is because of all the drama that I I just want to know what happened. I want to know what they wrote on him. But I definitely was a little bit surprised by that pairing. I was like, this is an interesting swap, but I'm here for it.
It's the duo we didn't see coming, but I honestly kind of dig it. We also got a lid design from SD Bestie, and I'm a little surprised at what I'm about to say. This lid design was kind of underwhelming for me, which sucks because normally I adore an SD lid. He never misses for me, but this one was just not my favorite.
I was definitely one of his more toned down ones, but I really liked the matte black. I did really like that, I will say.
We also got a lid from Lewis Hamilton, which honestly doesn't surprise me that he did an Abu Dhabi final season lid. I love this one. Chrome, glitter, and gold. Yeah, I'm a very happy camper right now, people. It's perfect. I don't have anything else to say.
Absolute stunner from LH. Absolutely pop off. If it wasn't for the fact that those mini helmets are like $300 for five. No, actually, I think they're $500 on Ferrari's website. I would get one. But I don't have that kind of money. I wish I did. I don't.
Speaking of Ferrari, we also got a helmet from Lewis's teammate, Charles. It was Charles' 150th race with Ferrari. I love that he put that on the very top of the helmet. The black was really interesting because I feel like we don't normally see like dark mode or anything super dark from Charles. Normally it's either like a red base or a white base. Like I don't feel like I've seen a lot of black from him, and I kind of liked that it was different from anything else that I feel like I've seen from him.
It was definitely out of the normal. I think most of the time he goes for like really bold reds and like pops of like yellow and white and stuff like that. So to see the black be more predominant, I really enjoyed. I also enjoyed that the Ferrari team did a video where like a bunch of the like mechanics and stuff like that were holding the helmet, and the team seemed to really enjoy it and congratulating him on his 150 races and being a part of it and like supporting Charles. So I was like, I love that.
I definitely really love this helmet, especially because, like Amy said, like Charles doesn't usually go for a dark helmet like that. It's definitely one of his more unique designs. I personally loved it. I think it's probably one of my favorites that he's done. Yeah. Pop off, Charles.
And our final lid design of the 2025 season is none other than Charles' bestie, Pierre. It's an okay helmet design in my opinion. I really liked the rose gold chrome that he did. It's super sick. It's different. I feel like normally people do like silver chrome, or like George has done blue chrome, or we see the gold chrome. The rose gold was just like a really interesting twist. It's got a little bit of a dark mode vibe. It's different from his usual design, which I do really appreciate. The helmet itself is a collab with We Are the Future by AIX Investment Group. They are a sponsor of Pierre's. They entered into F1 through their sponsorship with Pierre, so it's kind of cool. They've been on his helmets since they signed the deal with him, but overall the helmet design's okay. It's not like my all-time favorite, but I liked some of the little details that he included.
And Pierre was part of one more helmet swap that we saw on socials before this recording, and it was with none other than his bestie, Yuki. We got a Yuki Air helmet swap, guys. I literally wanted to cry when I saw this. I know Yuki will still be in the paddock, but this was just so sweet. And apparently one of the things Pierre wrote on his helmet that he gave Yuki was my favorite teammate. And I was just like, I cannot. I've not had enough sleep to process this emotionally.
Y'all, I was crying in the goddamn club. I can't. We love Yuki Air. They're so cute together. Pierre, please, 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 please take Yuki on a trip or take him to dinner, because I feel like he needs a really true friend right now, and Pierre is one of the few people who understands what Yuki is going.
We need another Yuki or karaoke session.
Please.
I'm here for that. Please record all of it. But Pierre did treat the whole grid to dinner, apparently, according to reports.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton's dinner. Pierre said in one of the driver interviews that he paid for dinner, that it was an expensive dinner. He said it was...
I thought I heard LH paid for it.
Same.
That's what George said.
Interesting.
No.
Well, I know last year Valtteri paid for it, which was so wild.
Yeah, Pierre said it was a very expensive dinner and that he is not.
I wonder if they
elected to
draw
pay
straws.
again.
I wonder if they draw straws.
And then I think in another one they asked who was paying for it next. And I think George said, not me.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to pay to feed like close to 20 people. Granted, we were missing a few at that dinner. But I would not want to try to feed a bunch of professional athletes. No, thank you.
And I think
Kimmy
said, thanks, Pierre.
I wonder if they play that game where like they all just like put their cards on a table in someone's hand and make the waiter pick, and that's who's paying.
That's diabolical.
Do that.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna choose to believe that that is exactly how they did it because I love the visual my brain just created.
To be a fly on the wall, just for that scenario.
Again, a girl can dream. Now, obviously, we have so much to yap about. So we're just going to kind of cover the rookies that we saw in Free Practice 1 and some of the big moments that we saw happen in Free Practice 3. Because honestly, people, we really want to get to the good stuff. As always, in case you didn't know, you can find the highlights on YouTube, either on the F1 YouTube account or probably other places on YouTube. Or if you have an F1 TV subscription, you can find the highlights or the full coverage there. Consider my PSA over.
Y'all, we had 9 rookies driving in FP1 this weekend. So we're going to go through them as fast as we can. Starting with a favorite of the PGP girlies, Mr. Pato O'Ward driving for McLaren. He was in Oscar's car for FP1.
Would I call Pato a rookie? No, not really.
Apparently a rookie is defined as a driver who has had no more than 2 races in F1. So...
Okay, fair.
Like, Liam is not considered a rookie because he's had, like, 7. So he's technically not a rookie. Now, this is another fave of the PGP girlies. Arthur Leclerc in the Ferrari. He was in Hamilton's car, and I think everybody loves when the Leclerc brothers are on track together. And I think it was so nice of Ferrari to give Lewis a break and let Arthur have the chance to understand why Charles is always so depressed.
No, not in the goddamn slightest. That's the problem.
Sad.
Honestly, I think my favorite thing, aside from obviously we get the Leclerc brothers on track at the same time, is the way all of the engineers had to get really creative with how they referred to the Leclerc brothers on track. Because normally you just hear the engineers say X person's last name. And you can't say Leclerc when you have 2 on track. So they got really creative and came up with the big Leclerc. And my personal favorite is Leclerc Jr. GP, thank you for coming up with Leclerc Jr. because that gave me such a good laugh. I love it. I have not a single complaint.
Even Max got a giggle out of it.
Yeah, I remember the responses from the drivers when they would hear that, and they're just like, they would laugh and they're just like, oh, okay. But I even giggled when Arthur said Charles is doing donuts over the radio for his like spin out during FP2, FP1, one of those. And I was just like, yes. I was like, Arthur. And then Charles having to be told about that during like the post driver interviews. And he's just like, oh, he said that. Interesting.
Just younger sibling things.
Now, the next rookie we had on the track was Arvid Lindblad for Red Bull in Yuki's car. I am fully aware that this is a standard procedure and it was decided on long before now. However, it still feels a little bit like insult to injury for Yuki, but I digress. I know it's been decided, it was already said and done, but
Well, yes, I agree. It kind of adds insult to injury for Yuki. I also feel like Arvid being in the car post announcement is almost like perfect timing because we might as well get used to seeing him on track now. Like,
that's true.
you might as well like let him get an opportunity. And obviously, again, I know it adds insult to injury for Yuki, and that makes my heart hurt because Yuki doesn't deserve that. But I also feel like you couldn't have written it better if it was a friggin' book.
Yuki deserves his restaurant. That's what he deserves.
Yeah.
And then next we had Luke Browning for Williams in Alex's car. I'm really sorry if I butcher this name. Ayumu Iwasa for V-Carb in Liam's car. Ryo Hirakawa for Haas in SD Bestie's car. And Jack Crawford for Aston Martin in Lance's car. We love the American representation. I love that. Thank you so much.
Honestly, if you know me, you know that I have a secret little soft spot for my favorite curly-haired American driver. I like seeing Jack in an F1 car. It's just so fun.
We also had Kian Shields in Aston Martin and Fernando's car.
If anybody is confused as to why we did not see Felipe Drogovic in a free practice session, in case you missed the news, he is no longer a part of the Aston Martin family. I'm a little sad. I love Felipe. He deserves nothing but the best. But he is now a part of the Cadillac family as he is a part of their Formula E team. So I am so happy for him that he has a seat in Formula E and will be able to like actually race full time.
I second that. I'm also kind of hoping that they're sticking him in Formula E and they're gonna prep him to come to F1 at some point. I wouldn't be mad about that. The final rookie we had in FP1 is Paul Aaron for Alpine in Pierre's car. I love Paul Aaron. I think that boy is so precious and adorable, and I get so happy when he gets to drive. He loves it so much. For FP3, we had a little bit of an incident. About halfway through the session, Lewis crashed into the barrier at turn 9 and briefly red flagged the session. Over the radio, he told Ricky that something buckled at the front and snapped the rear. Even the analysts back in the studio in the UK for Sky Sports or for F1 TV were could not figure out what really happened, and I haven't seen any reports on it, so I still don't really know. It looks like it was something with the suspension, but I cannot confirm nor deny that. And then there was another minor incident. I say minor, I don't know how minor it was, between Yuki and Kimi. Kimi had an unsafe release, and he hit the side pod of Yuki's car and got damaged. Obviously, Yuki got damaged, and Kimi damaged his front wing. Mercedes was fined 10,000 euros for that incident.
We did also get some news, technically before Quali Day, that the Aston Martin boys, both of them, were summoned to the stewards for, quote, non-attendance at fan engagement activities. Well, it turns out that the team got hit with two fines for 25,000 euros with a 15,000 euro suspension for 12 months for the driver's failure to attend the fan engagement activities because they, quote, thought a reserve or other driver would be representing the team. Aston Martin's proposal to kind of make up for it was to give away hats and garage tours. How both drivers think that a reserve or other representative was gonna be there in their stead makes no sense to me. But it is what it is. It seems like the FAA made some bank between Mercedes and Aston Martin.
It's bullshit if you ask me. Especially, like, considering Fernando's how many years in the sport and how many years of fan stages has he been doing?
Longer than Kimi's been alive.
Exactly. So, like, but, like, they've both been so absent this whole weekend from things, so I'm not surprised at all. Like, neither of them were at the driver's dinner. Fernando wasn't at the GPDA thing. So, like,
That was
I'm
so
or
funny.
GDPA. I'm not really surprised, but at the same time, how do you let both of your drivers not show up to this? Like, that's especially for fans, like, who are waiting, because, like, having been to a race and gone to a fan stage, if you really want to see a driver, like, up close, you have to get there so far in advance for some of these fan stages. So, like, I can't even imagine someone who is there just waiting for, like, Fernando and Lance, and then to just find out, oh, they just didn't feel like coming, or, oh, they thought someone else was coming. I don't know.
You say that they've been absent from this weekend. No, I feel like in a lot of ways, some of them have been absent from this year. I just don't. I just
Lance
get
Stroll,
the
we're looking at you.
Yeah, I just don't get the
very
feeling
minimal. Yeah.
that you want to be here. Like, even the fan engagements that Aston has done outside of the track, they just send Jess.
Mm-hmm.
And they no longer really go, versus in the past, like, one of them would show up and do like a brief, like, 15-minute conversation and then bounce.
I'm also not surprised. They both have seemed absolutely miserable this year. Like, on top of it, like, they both, not to say that's an excuse, obviously, because every other driver, no matter what they go through, I feel like at least still shows up to their responsibilities and does what they have to do for, like, sponsors and things like that, because it's a part of the job. But I do agree. I was just trying to, I don't know, be somewhat nice to them, saying it's only been this weekend. But
yeah, Lewis is a great representation. As he's been struggling, you can see it. Yet he's shown up and still been very present, still been very active with his fans. But he also enjoys it.
He enjoys it. They're very different personalities. I feel like I'm kind of wondering if Fernando is indeed gearing up to retire again. And I think we all kind of know Lance struggles with the media a lot and just with, like, all of the hate he gets. And I can kind of understand him wanting to do as little as possible when it comes to interacting with people. I don't know what kind of, like, comments he gets in person, but I don't necessarily blame them. I do think it was also a logistical error on the team's part, because, like, how do you not communicate that to anybody?
Yeah.
Reserve drivers or any other representative that was supposed to go, your drivers. I feel like that was also a logistical error on their part.
He's also very introverted, which plays a part into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, we're going to try to keep our quali thoughts short, because honestly, people, we really want to yap about this race, because obviously it's the final race of the season. That's the good stuff. Now, in Q1, we saw both Alpine drivers struggling with turn 1 and both get hit with track limits. Franco Colapinto himself got hit with track limits not once, but twice. The fact that track limits were back yet again had me so friggin' stressed out.
I was stressed and I felt so bad for Lewis, especially after the mess up in the car during, like, practice. Ferrari isn't letting us know what happened either with the car, so it was just kind of like so heartbroken to see.
Just burn the car.
Literally. I'll bring the matches.
Bin it. Nobody wants to see it ever again, please. We had a very, very sassy Kiwi in Liam Lawson. This radio message, I had to write it down because it made me gasp for a hot sec. It reads, "Honestly, mate, does he even look in his mirrors?" And this is in reference to a Ferrari. Do I know which Ferrari? No. By the end of Q1, we saw everybody's favorite rookie, or one of everyone's favorite rookies, because honestly, there are multiple rookies to love. Gabby Bortoleto knocked out not just his teammates, but Lewis Hamilton again. By far the most iconic thing ever. He has had such a killer season in terms of quali and just in general for his first season in the sport.
I know we talked about it, but like just Lewis, man, like he had the pace to make it through to at least Q2, and it just sucks that like he made an error this time and it wasn't the car. I just feel for him, and like I know that man cannot wait to be done this season and move on. Like this is definitely his worst year in his career by far.
Season he is wanting to forget for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a season all Ferrari fans want to forget.
Yep. Heavy on that.
C need a redemption.
Out at the end of Q1 was Lewis, Alex, Nico, Pierre, and Franco.
Now in Q2 we had a few more track limits issues. So if you are of the legal drinking age, only if you are of the legal drinking age, take a shot every time someone gets track limits. Please. You probably won't survive.
Again, I'm back with the radio messages, people. I am such a sucker for radio messages. I really hope that F1 TV or F1 is in general makes a compilation of like the radio messages from the season, because I feel like we've had some really good ones. Hearing Isaac Hadjar go, that is all I have. Isaac, I love you so much, baby. Especially because that radio message followed up with how absolutely excited he was that he made it through to Q3.
Love Isaac. He's been doing so well. I think we'll be safe as far as the radio message compilations go because the TikTok editors, I'm sure, are already on it. They work fast.
Yeah, if not, we'll figure out a way. I know this is random, but I love that, especially since there was a delay between Q1 and Q2. I'd love that they did a time analysis and that they showed like especially like the differentials between corners and the drivers and showed like where people were the strongest and where they weren't. And then this was one of the few times Gabby had made it out of Q3 or made it into Q3, so I am quite proud of this man.
Out of Q2, we had Ollie, Carlos, Liam, Kimmy, and Lance, which is not really shocking, in my opinion. Sorry, Lance.
Now, it's time for our final Q3 of 2025. And people, I was so stressed at the start of the session. I don't know why, but I was.
I don't think I've ever been as stressed as I was watching this qualifying as I ever have been in Formula One, except for when Lewis and Max were fighting for the championship contender. Don't even get me started about that. I was so anxious.
Again, my favorite thing is the F1 TV team. You guys have heard me and pretty much all of us rave about how much we love the F1 TV team. The synchronized O from the crew had me absolutely cackling and wheezing. I can't even. It was the fact that George had an issue and, quote, had a catch and a half. Thank you, Julian Palmer, for that killer line. But the synchronized ooh was just so funny. I had to run it back and listen to it twice because it just made me laugh so much.
Yeah, and I will also say I was surprised, but I was loving the team game Rebel is doing with Max and Yuki with the toe that was given to him in Q3, which helped him put him in the place that he is.
We've got to give some major kudos to Yuki Tsunoda for playing the team game, because there are definitely some drivers in the past and even current drivers on the grid who would not have done that if they were in Yuki Tsunoda's shoes.
Yeah, I definitely think Yuki took it pretty well, all things considered. But I gotta say, Max Verstappen, the man that you are, like, putting it on pole again. Kudos to him. I don't know, I was half asleep when I watched that. Not gonna lie.
Valid. Sometimes the time differences between like these races, you like want to pay attention, give it your full attention, but you're sleep deprived. But I will say, as like a person who wanted Lando to get P1, I was okay with Lando in P2. And I will say that was a killer run from everyone. Like, I felt like they went all out.
Now, obviously, Rachel started the F1 drinking game with this episode with track limits, but maybe consider adding this to your F1 drinking game if you are, of course, of legal drinking age. Every time they say, we'll find out tomorrow in a post-race interview, in media, what have you, because I feel like it was a phrase I heard more times than I could count.
Probably
You'll black out.
more than two hands, I would assume. Between, if you're counting all places, like Sky Sports, F1 TV, things like that.
You'll black out.
See ya. Now, your top 10 going into the race was Max in P1, Lando P2, Oscar P3, and then going down, George, Charles, Fernando, Gabby, Esteban, Isaac, and Yuki.
And now, let's get into the good stuff. It's race day.
Before we really get into the race coverage, I always notice that I find myself looking at what tires people are starting on. We had Oscar and Yuki on hard tires, Nico, Alex, and Lewis on soft tires, and everybody else was on mediums. Lights out hits, and we have a killer start from Max Verstappen. Honestly, I have nothing else to say, but yes, go Maxi.
We also had an absolutely killer start from Fernando. That man got up and he was fighting. I think we got a glimpse of the old Fernando for like a hot minute, and it was fantastic.
I'm here for that Fernando to come back, to be honest with you, and I hope we see that in the future. But I will say that was a quick overtake for Oscar going into P2 and Lando dropping into P3. He was like, I'm not messing around, let's go.
Honestly, all my notes say is yes, Oscar, yes, in all caps, because I was ecstatic.
It was absolutely beautiful overtake from Oscar. I'm here for it. It was phenomenal.
Like, I mean, the replay of it alone made me squeal. It was just such a clean overtake.
Low-key, it seemed like that was the plan all along, for Oscar to kind of, like, get ahead of Lando and have him attack Max, because they have the split strategy, so they can try more things, especially with two cars at the front versus having just Max at the front and Yuki at the back. So, I don't know. I mean, also, I'm sure they're not going to put up much of a fight with each other. Like, they're both in contention for the championship. What's the point of really fighting with your teammate as well? But also, I wonder if the plan was to send Oscar after Max, attack Max for as long as he possibly can, since he has the hard tire on, so it has more durability. I don't know. It was a good overtake, but I just wonder if that was the plan. Because also Sky Sports was interviewing Zach, and Zach was like, yeah, I was expecting it. So I wonder if that was like, I don't know.
Sorry, I really hate Zach Brown. That man annoys me so much. We then had an incident between Hamilton and Albon for overtaking off track. That was noted by the stewards. I believe Albon got a penalty for that one. I don't remember.
We did have Charles Leclerc inserting himself into the battle with Lando Norris. Honestly, my Verstappen heart was just so very happy in that moment.
Listen, that man would not be upset if he bended into the wall, because then he'd be free of the SF25. And I think that that's a curse that we all want to be free of.
Yes. We did also have a collision that was noted between Pierre and Nico for turn 5.
Yeah, I was very curious about this one because, fun fact, Amy and I were FaceTiming earlier this morning and we were talking about that and trying to figure out how that happened and when that happened. So I went back and I looked at the onboards for both Nico and Pierre, and it looked like it was just a racing incident and nothing to damage the cars per se. It almost kind of looked like a tire bump. So I was kind of curious on why it was being noted when there was no damage to the car, but then I was just like, it's a racing incident.
A moment where I looked up and I was just so confused because my notes literally just read, when the heck did Nico, Alex, and Lewis switch from soft tires to hards? I don't know how we missed the pit stop.
believe that was lap 8 or 9. It was very early on, for sure.
I swear the TV coverage did not show those pit stops at all.
The TV coverage was just showing the top 3 or the top 5, I really think, which I appreciate to a certain degree, but at the same time, like, the midfield battles are still really good. And they're like, oh, Pierre and Nico collision noted, and I was like, there was a collision? We didn't see it at all.
We typically get replays.
And we didn't.
Nope.
No,
Something was low-key off with the broadcast this weekend, because I noticed a couple times, like, or at least yesterday, or as of today, yesterday would be Saturday. Yeah. I'm trying to word it in my head.
You got this.
But, like, on quali day, when they were playing, like, F1 TV was playing their normal, like, I don't know what you want to call them, montages or whatever at the end of the broadcast, like, they would just play it with the sound, but not with the music that normally goes over it, and they would just randomly, span to the track, and, like, the driver intro was all weird. So I don't know if there was an issue, or if that was just, like, a fluke I noticed, but, yeah,
I mean,
it was definitely weird not seeing replays, because I was very confused.
Maybe some people decided to take their
it has been a 24 race season. People are probably burnt out to no end.
People might have taken their vacation early. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they had a different editor than normal. Who friggin' knows? Because we had the same thing where we had a moment where Ollie and Liam were noted for erratic driving, but we never saw said erratic driving. Which is so odd to me, because Liam Lawson got hit with a 5-second penalty for that exact situation.
Yeah, for context, this happened around, I would say, turn 10, and then the penalty was given to him around turn 14. Because I did something that I should do going forward. I took pictures of, like, when they pop up on the screen of, like, been noted and then it's been given, because I sleep between now and then, or I've had food, I've processed things, and if I don't write it in the moment, I'll forget it. And I was just like, oh, okay. But then I was also like, why, Lawson, are we doing this?
At one point, we also got another little surprise. We had Esty Bestie in the top 3. I was like, Esteban, what are you doing here? This is very random. Love that for him, considering he's in a Haas. Did not last long. And then we got our favorite sassy Brit. We got George over the radio about Charles moving under braking. I don't know what it is about a George Russell sassy radio, but I live for those. They are so funny.
I love George Russell. Like, I have grown to love him this season, and which I never thought I'd say, but I really do love that sassy Brit. Like, I love that man. But also I wanted to say this before going back to, like, the midfield overtakes and battles. Low-key at Abu Dhabi, those are the best overtakes that happen, is what happens in the midfield. So, really disappointed about that. Speaking of overtakes, Lando, the overtaking that he did, it was kind of nice to see, because I feel like we haven't really seen him do overtaking this year, at least with the front runners. So, like, just seeing him overtake all these cars and do double overtakes and all this stuff, I was just like, let's go, because he needed it.
Yeah, that was mega. And after that pit stop, that was a really quick fight back to the front. And I think he needed it.
We got another double overtake with Charles getting past Lance Stroll and Liam Lawson in, like, the same turn. Absolutely fabulous, considering he's driving the SF25. A miracle.
Yeah, he bounced back super quickly like Lando. And then I was like, the fans were mad that Lando was able to get by so easily, but then I laughed when Charles did the same move. Like, racing is racing, guys. Like, they're both killer overtakes. Like, give the credit where it deserves.
Yes, retweet. I absolutely agree with that. I just love seeing back-to-back double overtakes. It just brought me so much joy. I'm just a sucker for a double overtake. I think it's so fun. We also had a iconic as hell radio message from Yuki Tsunoda saying, I know what to do, so leave it to me. Okay, Yukino, I see you, baby. King, we love you. That's iconic as hell. Someone put it on a t-shirt, please.
I loved the comment. It was definitely amazing, and especially how he was just like, Red Bull, let me be. But was it just me, or did I not see the full delivery of I know what to do? Or did I just have tunnel vision?
I don't know, but it also kind of gave me Kimi Räikkönen energy of
Yeah,
like leave me alone, I know what I'm doing.
agreed.
Love it when they pull stuff like that. That's so funny. I do have to say, my mom really likes Max's sense of humor because he's a very dry Dutch sense of humor, and I showed her Kimi Räikkönen and she thinks he's hilarious. I showed her the like it's more like a hobby for me, so like and then I showed her him walking to his yacht after DNFing in Monaco, and she thought that was the funniest thing.
Because it is.
It's hilarious. We had Max finally pitting at lap 24. That was stressful. And then we had another incident, Lando and Yuki in turn 5. Yuki was under investigation for forcing a driver off track, and Lando was for overtaking off track. That ended up with Yuki getting a 5-second penalty. 5-second penalty for it wasn't forcing another driver off track. It was just moving twice while defending or something like that. It felt a very random penalty, in my opinion.
So that penalty was it was a 5-second penalty, but it was for more than one change of direction. That is what the notice said on screen, which is funny because that's not for forcing a driver off track, which is what he was under investigation for. So make it make sense.
I thought he was driving a bit more erratic than expected, or I guess what I would consider normal. But I was also surprised because I had gone fully into that expecting that Lando is going to get a penalty, but no further investigation for Lando on it for his overtaking. I just figured the FIA would do FIA things, though I didn't see anything in that race that would determine that he would be in fault, but who knows?
Personally, I didn't think either of them should have gotten a penalty. Like, ultimately, was Yuki driving a little bit more erratically and aggressive than he should have been, and was he moving? Yes. But at the same time, like, I don't think it was as aggressive as probably the penalty makes it seem. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like neither of them deserved a penalty in that situation, if I'm being honest. But I'm also glad, like, a penalty wasn't the thing that decided a championship, because I know that was another thing. Like, yeah. I'm very happy that that didn't also happen in the same note.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it was too harsh of a penalty, and I feel like it is one of those situations where either neither of them should have gotten a penalty or both of them should have gotten a penalty. Again, it's up to the track. Yeah, like make it a racing incident.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Now, here's the thing. How Charles was managing to drag a fastest lap out of that Ferrari is a goddamn miracle. I do not know how he did that, but good for him. I feel like this was probably the most fun he's had in that car all season. Now, one thing that had me dying was David Coulthard referring to Lando Norris as world champion-elect. And it's not because I was, like, upset about Lando being world champion. Why are you calling him world champion-elect? They're not voting for him. That is... It's not a vote system.
I do.
It's a competition.
I vote.
But you know what? David Coulthard, he's always there for a good time, and I love that about him.
We had, yet again, people with the track limits, because Kimi and Lewis were both shown the black and white flag for track limits. I really don't understand how people get hit with it so much, especially drivers like Lewis Hamilton, where, like, you know this track really, really well. You have been racing on this track for years. How in the heck do you get shown the black and white flag for track limits?
I blame the SF-25. It's not a great car. Yuki, when informed about his penalty, was not thrilled about it, as one would expect. His radio message was a little bit funny. I think it was like, what? What penalty, bro? And that was honestly really funny. I that goes in like one of my favorite. That goes in the montage of radio moments for the season for sure. Um, again, the penalty seemed excessive. I'm on Meg's side. I don't think either of them should have gotten a penalty, but c'est la vie. Lando pitted for a second time on lap 40, which is a 2.4 second stop, which is not bad. I feel like everybody was holding their breath with that stop because McLaren doing 2 stops is...
It's scary.
It's stress-inducing.
Yes.
Given their pit stops
It is
this
hit or
year,
miss.
It's inconsistent.
it is so inconsistent. Especially, like, Lando's average pit stop, I think, was, like, 3 seconds or something for the last couple of races. So, like, so stress-inducing. Especially the fact that they had to do it... Last week was even more stress-inducing, though, with, like, the fact that they had to do 2 of them each.
Mm-hmm.
That was worse, but still,
Yeah.
today, I was stressed.
Yeah. And then we had them pitting Oscar on lap 42. He finally pit for mediums, but he was on a 1 stop, I believe. I don't think he pit again.
Yeah, it was
So.
only a 1 pit stop. But I could not tell what McLaren's strategy was by this time in the race. It was very much like, okay, I get it. You don't have World Driver Championship potential, so are you now fighting for Max to get first place as like a makeup? And I'm like, if that's the case, I'm all for it because it did seem like Lando was helping him in some ways. And I'm here for the team game in a lot of ways, but I was just like, what all are you doing? Sometimes in my brain just couldn't comprehend some of the decisions.
To be fair, I don't really know if McLaren's strategy knew what they were doing in any way.
Yeah,
I think they were
because-
just rolling dice.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have thought they would have wanted Oscar to go for the, like, have him have his best shot at winning so that way they could get a 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. Like, I thought that's what the target was. I guess not.
Yeah.
But, because, I mean, even Lando said after, like, the race, he wanted Oscar to win the race. Like, he wanted them to get a 1-2 in the championship. I don't know if it was just poor strategy call by McLaren, but I don't know.
I just feel like they forget to account the fact that it's still Max Verstappen that they're going up against. And I know that the Red Bull this year is not great. It's gotten better. But at the same time, like, it's Max. It's Max, and Max is on pole. It's hard. It's really hard to get past Max when he's on pole.
And I don't think
It's hard to get past Max, period.
And I don't think Lando cared if he was first place or if he was second or if he was third.
No,
I think he just cared about the World Drivers' Championship.
I think
No,
he
no, no.
cared as
I
long as he
mean-
was on the podium.
I meant
Yeah.
he cared for Oscar. Lando didn't care as long as he was on the podium.
Oh,
Yeah.
He wanted Oscar to win the race for McLaren.
I just feel like it's Max Verstappen.
You
Yeah.
can't count him out.
You can never count that man out.
We did have, yep, you guessed it, more track limits, people. Because why the heck did Pierre Gasly get hit with a 5-second penalty for track limits? I can't.
Take a shot. Take a shot.
Yeah, I can't deal. I can't deal with track
Imaginary.
limits, people. It drives me up a wall. I did not even bother to check how many track limits deletions got like tallied up for this race. I really should have, but it is what it is. It's probably chaos. Now, the 7 lap to go mark hit, and I just immediately start stressing. My anxiety went through the absolute roof. I will say the final few laps were not that intense, but I was still stressed because I was just like, anything could happen. Someone could put it in the wall. Like, we could have a mechanical issue. Now, come the end of the race, I will say one thing that I am so happy to be able to say. We didn't have a single DNF this race. Everybody finished the final season. Nobody had an issue. Hallelujah, it's a miracle.
Considering the SF25 was on the grid, yeah.
And the Aston Martin and the
And
Alpine.
the Alpine.
I was expecting Franco to DNF. I don't
Girl,
know why I
same.
thought that, but I had a feeling going into it that he would. And then he didn't. And I was just like, oh, that's great. He finished his season in one piece.
You know
Hannah,
what? I
it's
will.
because Franco normally doesn't finish the race.
That's
I
true.
felt so bad thinking about it. I was like, I had like this thought at like 6:30 in the morning going, what the heck? And I was just like, okay.
Will give props to Lance Stroll. I think he only had one DNF this season on a
Mhm.
race day. And it was the crash with Gabby. It wasn't his
Yep.
fault too. So I will give him props for that. He's had a pretty good season, all things considered.
Sauber in general has had a really good
Sauber has
season.
also had a good season.
They bounced back incredible, I will say, from last year. Even Haas, in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Headphone users, I apologize. Take them off. If you don't want to hear me scream, Lando Norris is the 2025 World Champion! Yay! He did it! Woo! Oh man, I'm so happy. I cried so many tears of joy today. Oh man. I was crying
gonna
before
cry
you even
again?
finished. I might, man. Like, it just doesn't feel real. Like, he did it. Like, oh man. Oh. I knew his time would come, but I'm just so happy it finally is here. And like, I was just very emotional. He was emotional, seeing his family emotional, everybody. Oh, and the montages they played from him as like a little kid to now. Ah,
So you're emotional, is what we're gathering.
yes.
Yeah.
If you don't get emotional when you win your first driver's championship, you're doing it wrong. Honestly, like if somebody doesn't get a little emotion, like I'd be questioning them. Honestly, that's just me. I do have to say, hearing them say that he was the 35th champion of the world is just kind of wild to think about.
And he's the 11th British champion, which is also kind of wild that out of 35, 11 of them are British. That's pretty good margin. Percentage. I don't know. I don't do numbers.
Lando, I am so happy. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You didn't want to be here because I was like screaming and jumping for joy. It was incredible. I am so proud of this team. It has been a long and hard season for all of the teams and the drivers. And I think it was a great and amazing effort from them. And I know that those drivers couldn't do it without them.
Now, your top three at the end of the race was Max in P1, Oscar in P2, and Lando in P3.
Driver of the day was Max Verstappen. I love that for him. I think he drove an incredible race. I think he drove an incredible last half of the season. Absolutely insane comeback. And our
Talk
fastest
about
lap.
a recovery, people.
Truly. And the fastest lap somehow goes to Charles Leclerc. With a 1:26.725. Good for him. That SF25, how he did that, I will never know. Now we've had our top three for the race. Our top three in the World Drivers' Champion are Lando Norris for the first time ever, Max Verstappen in second, and Oscar Piastri in third.
Now, we still have some things that we need to yap about, people, because I feel like we need to take a quick second to say goodbye to DRS. And in some cases, saying goodbye to the DRS Chronicles of Oscar Piastri's Twitter account. Yes, I will forever find an excuse to bring that up because it's the best thing I've ever seen. Because, yes, people, that was our last race with DRS. Starting next season, it is time to say hello to Mom. Manual overdrive mode. I hate the idea of calling it Mom. It just doesn't flow. I don't like it. So you're going to hear people talking about it a lot, potentially even complaining about it a lot. I, for one, am just really, really, really hoping in some weird way that they get Jenson Button in a currently modern F1 car so he can be the last person to push the DRS button, because the Jenson Button jokes write themselves.
I feel like it would be a really great send-off. and I'm totally here for it. And please record the whole thing and do it like the sunset type of deal, like golden
Yes.
hour. It would be a perfect way to go out. I'm so
He
here
liked
for that.
he liked my comment about it on Instagram. So,
Who knows?
I will also say it's going to be really hard to say mom, like in general, like conversation. I feel like for here on out, we're now going to have to say manual override mode. Because, like, how are you going to know you're talking about mom versus, like, your mom? And, like, not get it confused in certain context situations. But I will say, I was here for Jensen congratulating and interviewing Lando on the podium. I think that was like a really good way of just like closing it out. And I felt like it was a little bit more personal coming from a previous F1 driver who has been in similar situations to like this and like now.
Feeling that the fans or the engineers will come up with a totally different way to refer to mom. They might honestly refer to it as MOM. I don't know. Or they could call it overdrive. I don't know. I also just had to add my hat into the ring for the Jensen Button being the last person to press the DRS button campaign. He's still there. Get him in a car.
Please.
Immediately. Kimi at the moment, Kimi Antonelli was the last one to press the DRS button. That is I'm sorry, Kimmy, but that is unacceptable. It should be Jensen Button. Thank you very much.
It should be Jensen, please.
He's still there?
I think it's also funny that Lance Stroll is also the last person to use a DRS overtake. I don't know why that was so funny to me, but I was like, out of all people to do an overtake with DRS, it'd be the last one ever. It's Lance Stroll. Like,
yeah,
I think
good
that's
for him.
Yeah. Like, honestly, happy for that guy. And now we are going to go into a final couple of thoughts about the season. This season was a very dramatic one with many twists and turns and unexpected outcomes. I mean, who thought Max Verstappen was going to finish second in the Drivers' Championship coming from a 104-point deficit, as well as even Lando winning it, fighting back a 34-point deficit or 32 or whatever it was. Very excited for next year. Also nervous to see what next year brings. But yeah, let's do another one. Let's go. I'm already ready.
I need some emotional like breather room before we start this next season, please, because I just left today as we're recording this in an emotional roller coaster. I need to like level out my whatever you call it. But I am really happy and like I enjoyed the switch up of the podium finishers this year and how cool the racing was and how competitive we had. I think we saw the most diverse podium switch ups than we have in the last few years. So that was really good to see. And I felt like we saw like genuine racing come to life, and we saw all the teams really exceeding in things that they're so good at versus having a clear differentiation between the teams. I mean, yes, McLaren won the championship so early, but other than that, like we had proper freaking racing, and I hope that next season we have the same.
I have to agree with Hannah. I really loved seeing a nice variety in our podium finishers at times. I feel like any F1 fan can be happy about that because Lord knows a lot of people really did not love always seeing Max win last season. So getting some variety was just really needed this year, I fear. I can't. I, for one, really hope that this season is the end of Papaya Rules because honestly, people, let's face it, that was a hot mess.
Burn it.
I do think that next
Yes,
season is going to be really wild with the new regulations. I'm bracing for absolute chaos, and I think everybody should, to be really honest.
The switch up.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. This season was definitely one for the books. Listen, I got my mom to watch the races, and if like that doesn't tell you how intense the season was, I don't know what will. My mom does not like Formula One. I really loved having the championship come down to the wire. I know it's super dramatic and it's super stressful, but I love the drama of it all. I think it was fantastic. I think it's going to make for great Drive to Survive episodes. And of course, as a Ferrari fan, I am absolutely thrilled to finally say goodbye and good riddance to the SF25, as I'm sure the drivers are as well. If you want to hear more, don't forget to check out our full season review episode we are recording next week. But before we say bye to y'all today, I have to talk about one more thing that happened over the weekend that hasn't been talked about too much. And that is the fact that Ollie Behrman gifted the Haas guys and a lot of the media members goodie bags with a handwritten Christmas card and some little stickers, a little bear keychain, and like some sweets. And I thought that was the most precious thing. Kim Illman has a photo of him on his Instagram, and Ollie's like walking, he's pointing at the bags, and his like brother, sister, and girlfriend are all carrying these massive shopping bags, just like absolutely filled with treats and stuff. And that is the most precious thing. That is why he will forever be the most precious rookie. I swear to God, I thought that was just so sweet.
All right, besties, that is a wrap on our Abu Dhabi Grand Prix recap. Our final race recap of the 2025 season. Where did the time go, I fear? What a year it has been. Thank you so much for riding along with us through a very crazy season, through every high, every low, every plot twist, every Paddock rumor, because Lord knows there have been a lot of them. Don't forget, follow us on socials so you never miss an update. You can find us at Paddock Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. Now, don't forget, make sure that you drop us a comment with your thoughts. We really and truly do read everything that you send us and or write to us. And if you loved this season as much as we did, make sure you're subscribed so you are ready for our final season review episode that is coming soon. As always, thank you so much for listening to the Paddock Girls Podcast. We will see you on the next lap. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.
Lando, we could be world champion.
Insert Charles Leclerc voice here.
Let's go.